One of the things that I think was a big weakness last season that a lot of people kind of just glossed over was the running game. They went from second-ranked running game, averaging about 141 yards per season in the Super Bowl run in 2019. They dropped to ranked 15th last season, averaging about 110 yards, so dropping about 30 yards per game. Obviously, with a brand new quarterback, or even if Jimmy is the starter, that running game pretty much drives Kyle Shanahan's offense. They play a lot of play action. It obviously sets up a lot of their passing plays as well. Why do you think were some of the issues in the running game last season? And do you feel like those have been rectified? What are you expecting out of the running game this season?
The running game, we've always had a stout running game, and traditionally, it's offensive line. Even going back to the Super Bowl days when Cap was behind center, we had more maulers. We had more maulers and run blocking than we had guys in pass pro.
Right.
So, with the addition of Aaron Banks, I do think and he's a dog, by the way. Aaron Banks want to run through your face, put you on your pockets. You know what I'm saying? So, and no disrespect to Brunskill, because Brunskill pretty much was a stone wall for Aaron Donald a couple times last year. I mean, so but we can always get better. I just really think the running game took a hit because Jimmy going out, even though folks don't want to admit this, Jimmy going out was an issue because now they can say, even though they stacked the box against Jimmy, now you got Jimmy Backus coming in. We can really stack the box.
Right.
We could put 13 in the box and it wouldn't matter. So I really think the fact that the focal point of last year was the running game without a starting caliber quarterback was an issue. You can stack the box. If they beat us deep, so be it. But it's Jimmy. You play the middle of the field, there's not really much to do. But so with this year, I do feel, and let me say, if Jimmy is healthy and he's motivated, I want to see him succeed. I do. I don't have much faith that he will because I think we've seen the best of him in 2019. But in the event he can and does stay healthy and play great, so be it. But I really do feel that with a Trey Lance, even fresh as he is, it's more of an 11-on-11 situation than it is with a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo. Because think about it, man. It's 10 and 11. It's 10 and 11 whenever Jimmy's in the game.
Right.
I saw a clip today from practice, and they had both quarterbacks doing a zone read. If I'm a DC and I'm a linebacker, and Jimmy goes zone read, you better stick to the run. Because I have no worry about Jimmy taking off on me 10, 20, 30 yards downfield. You play the run. So, but with Trey Lance behind center, everything opens up. And again, not to say I'm anti-Jimmy because I'm not. It's just even the playing field.
Swan Song doesn't give Jimmy as much credit as you do. Man, go like that as well. I think another big reason, I think there's two other big reasons and reasons why I think the run game will actually excel this season. One is Alex Mack at center. I think they really missed somebody who could be the captain of that offensive line. I think a lot of the issues last season with the offensive line a lot of them were blown calls and not having somebody that was really positioning the offensive line the right way. I think Alex Mack is going to fix a lot of those problems. Another thing was an unhealthy George Kittle. George Kittle plays a big role in that running game, especially when they go, outside in a lot of those jet sweeps. He really seals the edge as the tight end. Hopefully he'll stay healthy this whole season. So those two additions, I think, will be huge in getting the running game back to, elite. Plus the additions of guys like Sermon, Gallman, and having a mobile quarterback like Trey Lance. We're talking about nothing but upgrades for this offensive line and for the backfield to really be able to enhance this running game. And if we have another top three rushing attack mixed with this defense, I think we have a really, really good chance, to be a double-digit win team and really solidify a playoff spot and hopefully a Super Bowl run as well. How do you feel about Alex Mack being an addition to the offensive line?
I'm glad you asked that question. Get out of my head because I want to ask you that question next. So, if you had to pick one thing that was Kyle Shanahan's staple in terms of the run game, it's the what?
the zone blocking scheme.
Okay, more specifically, what zone? Outside, inside?
Outside.
Right. With the addition of Alex Mack and a big guy like Aaron Banks, who is a mauler, he can now use the inside zone as well. So you don't have to depend on and lean on a use check on the outside or a kid on the outside. Now we can run inside zone as well. Because most teams, look, Kansas City in the Super Bowl, second half, they pretty much sat they DNs and their linebackers on the edge like, okay, now what you going to do? But we couldn't do nothing. So now with guys like Alex Mack and Aaron Banks with maulers, you can run inside zone. And you add a Sermon to the mix. You know, most are going to come back, motivated as ever. You know, because that boy weekend fast, like I said in my article. Can you imagine him stepping, through a gap, through the AB gap up the middle? Before you blink, he gone.
Right.
Even in the middle. So I really think Shanahan, what he did was he drafted for more so inside zone, just to enhance and add to the outside zone. So now you really can't gamble anymore. This ain't like Tecmo Bowl back in the day. If I press up and B, you press up and B, you picking my play. Oh, nah. It's a little more complicated than that, especially you add Trey Lance to the scenario.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of goes back to what you were saying even about D'Amico Ryans and the defense. Now Kyle Shanahan has more options, right? So more tools in that tool belt. You know, obviously people already know about what they can do with the outside zone scheme. Now you throw in inside zone. Now you really like whatever he's seeing the defense kind of hedge towards. He has a counter move to be able to just gash him in another way. So
he has a full playbook, bro.
Right.
His full playbook. And I hate to sound like I'm bashing Jimmy because I'm not. It's almost like you drafting a LeBron in a fantasy league for basketball and you shooting threes with him every time. That's not what he does best.
Right.
Play to his strength. So now, every time we come out on the field, they like, I guess we just got to figure out what we're going to do once the play start. Because you can't just pigeonhole and say, okay, this is what they're going to do. So, I mean, even with Jimmy in there, with the running game and the offensive line additions, it's going to be a crapshoot, but it's more so of a crapshoot with Trey Lance in there. And again, I wish Jimmy the best, but I do believe that Trey Lance gives us the best chance to win, especially with the addition to the offensive line of Alex Mack and Aaron Banks and Brunskill coming back. So if this team is healthy, I don't think we cheat.
How do you feel about the running back rotation? In 2019, one thing that was really important to the rushing game was Tevin Coleman kind of took most of the starting snaps, but they also had Breida and Mostert as the kind of home run hitters, and it ended up where most of them had right around the same amount of carries by the end of the season. We didn't really have that last season due to injuries and just, the running back core was kind of thin. Now with Gallman, Sermon, and obviously Mostert still there, I think Sermon, I imagine him playing more of that Tevin Coleman type role and then really giving Mostert the ability to not take as many hits. Hopefully he could stay healthy and just gash him with the 4 or 5 yard average like he had in 2019. How do you feel about this running back core? And do you feel like they could get back to that 2019 status with the type of stable that they have in the backfield right now?
First of all due respect to Tevin Coleman, a.k.a. T-Cole, the best years we're left in Atlanta.
Right.
So I'll take Elijah Mitchell over Tevin Coleman. I mean, he's a speed guy as well. Pretty big guy. So even with just Mostert, Sermon, and if Jeff Wilson Jr. was healthy, oh man, come on.
He's practicing. I mean, he's doing some drills and stuff. So hopefully by mid-season he'll be there.
I mean, but now my point is, now I've seen, it's social media gives people the opportunity just to talk, and say things that they wouldn't have the opportunity to say otherwise.
Makes everybody an analyst.
Right. So my thing is, Mostert's kind of salty or jealous of drafting Trey Sermon. If I'm Mostert, hey, I don't know. I'm getting a breather now.
Right.
So now, with Mostert or Sermon or whoever's behind them, now you got a breather. So now you can go ahead. You may see a different back every down. I won't be surprised to see Juszczyk in there and him get some runs. Oh, that's another guy, Juszczyk. Oh man. Hey, listen. While he may not be a Tom Raffin type fullback, that boy gets busy, and I love to see him get more touches in the passing game. But he definitely block his his what off. I mean,
Right.
the boy can block. So with this stable, I'm calling it stable running backs. Again, you never know what might happen, and I wouldn't mind seeing a backfield with Sherman in the fullback position. So don't nobody out there say I want Sherman playing fullback, but just in terms of personnel, with Sherman in the fullback position, with Mostert behind them, with Juszczyk offset off the tackle, and George Kittle. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you can do what you want to do with this offense. I mean, because now you really don't know who's getting the ball,
Right.
especially with the read option and the play action. I'm telling you, brother, if we stay healthy, I'm talking cash money, sugar honey iced tea all season. I mean, I'm telling you, this running game. And I've been asked a couple of times who I feel will lead the team in receptions or receiving yards. Only because the run game should be so thorough, I can't say. Whoever's open.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
which is a
which is
a really good problem to have, right? When anybody could be the top receiver. It's hard for the defense then to kind of hone in on one person.
And that's what I'm saying. And as much as the people want to, Jimmy this, Jimmy that. Somebody look, I gave it a 10 versus 11. Somebody said 9.5. I'm not sure who that was but somebody said 9.5. I mean, so come on, man, with a healthy team and Trey Lance back there, you can't just call a play before it happens. It's just that simple.
Especially with the mastermind like Kyle Shanahan, I feel like, some of the talk from him in previous years, he knew that he wasn't able to open up his whole playbook. I think he finally has put together the type of team and has the type of quarterback in Trey Lance where he could kind of show what he's capable of and open up his whole playbook where, like you were saying, he was kind of babysitting Jimmy Garoppolo. And no disrespect to Jimmy Garoppolo. Obviously, he's done a lot for our team since he's been here. But it's kind of like that next step, kind of like how we had Cap and Alex Smith, right? Alex Smith took us really far, but Cap came in and took us to that next level because you're able to do things with Cap that you weren't able to do with Alex Smith. It's kind of that same type of feeling where Jimmy Garoppolo is good, but there's certain things that you aren't able to do with Trey Lance in there. You're able to open up the whole playbook. But something you touched on, man, having Alex Mack, having Aaron Banks there also does that to the running game because now you're not pinned to just getting most of your yards on the outside zone. Now you have that counter with the inside zone. Go ahead, Kev.
You just triggered a thought. I may be reaching here, but I reach a lot. But I grab what I'm reaching for most times. With the addition of Alex Mack, the less Jimmy has to think, the better.
Right.
Because I've always said that Jimmy Garoppolo was not the most cerebral quarterback. Now, some of y'all watching, maybe even you, may have something to say about this, but Nick Mullins was a better quarterback, a better shoulder than Jimmy Garoppolo is. And you ever seen the drum line?
Yes.
With Nick Cannon?
Yep.
So remember Nick Cannon was doing his thing, this he was good until what? He had to read music, right?
Right.
Exactly. So then he had to think about it. Jimmy G's the same way. Think about that 5-game stretch he had in 2017. You asked me, Kyle Shanahan said, "Hey man, find somebody open." He was out there freelancing. But the moment you put him in front of a playbook and you don't spoon feed him what he has to do, he's struggling.
Right. That's a really good point.
I'm real talk.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, man. So Alex Mack will help Jimmy as well. But at some point in time, Jimmy had to think on his own. Alex Mack can only do so much. So and my thing is, like I said, is Jimmy, if you tell Jimmy as a youth coach, and I heard this a lot, we on the sideline, hey, Kev, throw the ball to Johnny. Or throw the ball to Robert, throw the ball to Dante. Okay, great. If he was covered, they're still throwing the ball to Dante, Johnny, or whoever it was they should throw the ball to.
Right.
It's not often you find a youth quarterback who can say, I play through the coaching. Oh, I know he said throw it to Sunil, but he got a man right in front of him. So therefore, there's a guy next to him that's open. I'm going to get him. Jimmy doesn't really have that like that. And it's okay. Some people have it and some people don't.
Right.
You know, but I do think Alex Mack will help Jimmy just a little bit.
And if he could help Jimmy, he could help Trey as well. So